ready? Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Alexander Alvarez. I am the Director of Marketing here at Noitom. And like Rock mentioned earlier, we're going to be going over virtual production, what tools we're using, and basically how we're making the magic come to life. In front of me, I have the different tools that we're going to be using today. And I'm really going to go over some of these things, cover what the benefits are of using our new hybrid trackers, what the benefits are of using our Perception Neuron Studio, and some of the things that we're using here to kind of bring your projects to life. So first and foremost, for today's virtual production, we're going to be using our new Perception Neuron Studio kit. Comes in this handy dandy Pelican case that you see here. And all the sensors are here stored in your regular storing and carrying case. It comes with 17 sensors regular, and you have the ability to add finger capture. That's one of the many amazing things that we have with our Perception Neuron Studio kit. It is very modular and easy to use. Now, right off the bat, I want to mention pricing because I know we get a lot of questions on that. The Perception Neuron Studio kit, combined full body and fingers, is $7,500 USD. Now, once you have that, you will have the ability to start working with our Perception Neuron Studio Access software that is included. You can actually download it now onto the website. But we're also going to be transitioning to dongle-based software. The dongle is going to allow you to take your software wherever you go, plug into any computer, operate and work. The benefit to having this dongle when we're really transitioning is the ability to now have modular components that you can add on. So these components are add-ons, they're paid, but you get to pick and choose what you want, which is the beauty of our whole Perception Neuron ecosystem, right? So here where we're talking about virtual production, when we're talking about XR, these are things that you're going to be able to add on. So for example, some of the modules that will be coming down the pipeline are finger spreading for your Perception Neuron Studio gloves. Then we're going to be talking about time code, as well as hybrid tracking, which will be added on in Q3 of this year. So that's very exciting. That's a very basic foundation of what we're talking about. And these are the hybrid trackers that I just mentioned. So what we're going to be having is two performers interacting in a scene. They're going to be going through two different environments. They're going to be doing a short skit, and then we're going to kind of focus on their movements, kind of showcase the capabilities of our Perception Neuron Studio hardware. Cool. So these are our markers. These are our rigid bodies. So each of these rigid bodies is both an optical and inertial sensor. The markers on the outside, these little balls, are active. That means that we're using external cameras. In the first session that we had in the morning at noon, we talked about what cameras we work with, right? So right now we work with OptiTrack and we work with Qualisys. We're trying to make this platform as easy and open as possible for many different people. When people talk to us about hybrid, and when we talk to them about hybrid, we're really trying to focus on the benefits of this, right? So what's the difference between this and an optical, pure optical solution, right? So if you are using a pure optical system, there's two things that you really have to consider. One being cost. When you have an optical volume, more often than not, you're going to have contingency. So you're looking at somewhere in the range of 12, 24, even more cameras to capture just two people, right? And then you're not even talking about adding props. What that happens is if you don't have a lot of cameras, you're gonna suffer from occlusion, right? And that's kind of the benefit of just having a pure inertial system, right? You don't have to worry about occlusion. You can wear sensors over or under your clothing. It's really portable. You're not limited to an environment. It's really great. So we're mixing the best of both worlds with our Perception Neuron Studio system and our Perception Neuron Studio hybrid trackers. So we're doing all the data fusion here. That's going into our software, our Access Studio software. You're actually going to be able to see the markers on the performer that's calibrated with them, as well as the props or external objects that you're going to be using throughout the capture session that you're going to be doing. So I can go more into detail towards the end of kind of like the broadcast, the demo that we're doing, but I'm going to move on to some of the components that we have in place, right? So our performers, we have two performers. They're suited up with, you'll see one is wearing our Perception Neuron Studio full body kit, so that's a zip up, that's an accessory that someone can use and get. right? So it's really easy. So in the scenario that you want to do really dynamic movement, you want to jump, you want to move around, you don't want to worry about possible slippage or anything like that, this slip-on suit makes it really easy to kind of put on. You don't have to worry about the sensors moving. It's really easy to calibrate, and it comes in multiple sizes, right? So each one is custom made. So if you're interested in those, feel free to email us. They're really easy to use, put on. You know, we have a small lead time for those. So feel free to reach out if you're interested. And then we have our second performer that's using our traditional strap-based system. So this is what comes with your Perception Neuron Studio kit. And so with this, you're able to put it on. It comes in, you have a base harness that comes over the torso, and then you have multiple straps that go for the upper body and lower body. So with that, you're able to kind of configure to people of multiple sizes, which is the beauty of this, right? You're not limited to a single body size configuration. Second, we're talking about head-mounted for the head-mounted cameras, right? So these are custom-made rigs. We recently worked on these. So I have some on the table, and then we can see our performers that also have them. We have our rigid body, our hybrid marker on top of the head, so they'll get the head movement, and then we're using an iPhone, right, for the facial tracking, and we're using Unreal's iPhone app to do that. One thing I wanted to mention with the head-mounted rigs that they're using, right? We made these custom. They're great to use. You know, it really keeps the phone in place. There is a more affordable solution that we have on the market. It's available on our website. It's something that's really great if you're going to be doing a single-person setup, if you're not going to be moving around a lot. And that's the neck brace that we have here, right? So I'm going to be showing it in front here in the camera. It's really easy. You just kind of put it around on your neck. And with that, right, you can place a phone in front of you, and so long as you move, you know, you keep the face tracking in front of you. It's really fun and great to use, right? You don't have to worry about a big cumbersome setup, and you don't have to worry about weight on the head. So this is for a very simple setup. Something, for example, if you're doing VTubing or digital signage, this is an excellent platform to use. And finally, what our characters are going to be interacting with are physical props. So this is something for the second scene, but as you can see, I'm holding this flashlight. And so this flashlight has a rigid body in front, right? It has our hybrid marker, and this is going to be able to track in our scene. It's going to be a physical flashlight. You're going to move around. You're going to see lighting inside of that environment. And our other performer actually has a box that's with them that is representing a lunchbox in this environment. So it's really great. So that being said, I'm actually going to transition now to actually filming the interaction, so we can kind of showcase what it looks like to do a virtual production, right? We're going to have two people interacting in real time. We're going to have prop tracking, facial capture. We're going to be seeing what this looks like in real time, and kind of talk about the benefits of a full virtual production suite. So I'm going to go ahead and come over to the camera. I'm going to be handed off. Transition to camera 2. Great. So you guys can kind of see that I have two characters in front of me. I have them interacting. They can smile. They're moving their fingers. Oh no, they're looking sad. That's a sad face. So we have a young boy, and we have a fox. They're here in this beautiful scene in this environment. They're in a forest. And of course, all our assets are in Unreal, so that's what we're using for this. I'm using a Teradek, if you guys can see. So this is broadcasting. And so what I'm going to do now is we've rehearsed a short scene that they're going to go ahead and do. I'm going to get myself in position as the director. I'm going to have my two actors line up. Perfect. So I'm just going to back up a little bit. And what we're going to do is start with an establishing shot, right? So I'm going to have my actor I'm going to call action. And we're going to go ahead and start and see what this looks like. Ready?
Ready.
Okay, great. So when I call action, we can go ahead and start. Oh, let's see. Hold on, we're going to go ahead and pick up tracking. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and just move a little bit. Let's check out our environment. Great. We can kind of see what's happening and what the scene's going to look like. Perfect. Okay. So when I call action, let's go ahead and begin. 3, 2, 1, action. Oh.
Why are you following me? I'm hungry. I'm very hungry. Where's your lunchbox? I want it. Well, I'll walk over there and we can have some lunch together. You want some? Yes, that's fantastic. Let's go.
Perfect. And cut. So we did a rough take. We can actually do this over and over again, which is one of the benefits of virtual production, right? And kind of what we're showcasing here. So you actually have the ability to have this pre-recorded. You can do it live. You could plan your previs as you're walking around. So we kind of did a test take. We saw what our performers were able to do, and we can actually do this over and over again, right? So we did a live take. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is we're going to do another take one more time. We're going to take see what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and position myself again to establish the opening shot. When I go ahead and call action, we're going to go ahead and begin. So 3, 2, 1, action. Great. We can see a little fox sneaking behind. Oh, what's that?
Oh, Fox, why are you following me? I saw you had a lunchbox. Where is it? Oh, well, I don't have it with me, but you can come with me and we can go have lunch together. Yes, that sounds fantastic. Let's go. Woo.
And cut. Great. Let's go have our performers reset. I'm going to follow them so you can see them moving around. Great. So before we move on to the next scene, I'm actually going to kind of showcase what we have, right? So I'm going to have performer 1. Could you go ahead and just speak for me?
Hello.
Right, can you, eye tracking, you have your finger movement. Right, so we have a full body articulation, facial capture, full body movement. Can you move back and forth around? Great. Can you kneel down, do some kicks? It's a little karate boy. Great. Same thing with the fox. Let's go ahead and look at what the fox looks like.
Ooh, I see you.
Actually, I really particularly enjoy this part of the fox. What does the fox's tongue look like? Right, it's one of the fun things about the iPhone, right? That we get to have that facial capture movement. Same thing, right? We get full body articulation, finger, facial expressions, interacting in this scene. And so we have the prop interaction, right? So we had that lunchbox earlier that we were showing. We have the full body capture. We have finger articulation. We have facial expression. And this is really a great way to start planning previs shots, right? So you could do these things live. You could do previs. You can really interact as you're doing it, right? And this is fully digital. So we're not even implementing XR with green screen or blue screen. This is purely done in a digital space where we're using Unreal Engine to render everything in real time, and we're having that interaction. When you're using the Perception Neuron Studio, you do have the ability to capture up to 5 simultaneous users at the same time, right? So you have that ability. And for each character, right, that is using hybrid, you actually are able to add up to 4 different components for prop tracking. The whole plan that we want to do is to have the ability to now have small studios create their own projects. And that's really in the realm that we're looking at somewhere around 40 to 50,000 US dollars. It's the ability to now work on your own projects at an affordable price point, right? Everyone loves The Mandalorian, they love Avatar, they love what's been happening. So we really want to enable creators that opportunity to work on their projects and everything that they're doing. Before we jump onto the second scene, I'm actually going to go ahead and transfer over to our technical director, Alberto, who kind of worked on this scene. He kind of prepped the characters, the environment, and he's going to walk us through what we actually saw just now.
Hi everybody, I'm here. I'm Alberto. We're going to show you guys some of the back, what's going on in the background for the scene. First, I'm going to switch that screen in the background, this is what I see as a modifying same for everybody. You can see Alex using the camera right there, the camera zooming into his face. And I also have kind of like an overview mode where I can actually see our entire map and add new props, move different props around. It makes it a lot easier for there to kind of cooperate with the camera operator. So hold on, people can't hear you.
Let me just see. Hold on.
Sorry about that. That's like
So what I was mentioning is that with the Unreal Engine, you have a lot of controls and creative to adjust the scene. So you see Alex moving around with the camera. So he has his creative control. He's looking at the viewfinder. He can actually see exactly what's going on in the scene. While I'm over here, kind of an overview of the whole world. And as you can see, you can create as big of a world as you want, and just limit the space that you want to work with. Our characters, the ones that we're using here, we actually have a lot of control. So Lenny's is driving their character here with the fox. And you can see she's kind of moving around in real space. And then, if I don't want to certain angle or certain position of standing, or you can even change the size of the character just to make the scene match a little bit better. So that is going to be a giant box. And again, at this point, we can also look at it out of the screen. You can see that out of the screen also is around space. While I'm also walking through it.
Perfect. Anything from on the LiveLink end that you should cover that you'd like to talk about LiveLink? And like I know you said the data is there. Is there a way for you to show that data flow that you're collecting now?
Yeah. So, a few different things mostly with the characters is what's the evidence. So using the character, you can actually see the flow of the way that's coming in. And you can see how the data is coming in from the clock character. So we have two live points coming in. One of them is from Perception Neuron Studio, the other one is this capture. I also have an interactive post using animations like T-Post to correct some of the changes in the post that you show. And then those two animations that have to put together to do final post. I'm also doing a visual corrective post which can change the height of the characters and a little bit different size. But the final output is put into the character.
Excellent. Perfect. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to give Alberto a quick break as he transitions the scene. So, you know, if there's any questions in the meantime that you guys have, I'm going to let Rock and the guys in the chat. Oh, you guys hear me? Yeah. Great. So as Alberto's changing the scene, because we'll go ahead and do our other take, I'm going to go ahead and ask to see if there's any questions in the chat that we can answer for you live now. You know, I know that we're kind of showing you a lot of what's happening, right? And there's a real foundation in terms of where we started, right? Because if you've been following us again, you know, and I talked about this in the beginning and during our first session, right? When we talk about the iterations from Mocap through Perception Neuron 32 to Perception Neuron Pro to where we are with Studio, we've really enhanced the capabilities of what you guys are able to do. And we're really excited to kind of showcase these tools for you and now provide them for you, right? So it's more than us just showing it and creating cool content here in the studio. It's really giving you the ability to now create, you know, your AAA content really easily in all the projects that you want to do. So if there's anything in the chat, I don't know if there is, you know, I'll go ahead and answer those. If not, you know, we'll kind of give. Yeah, no, nothing in the chat.
There's not really any questions in the chat. I think everyone's looking at what's going on.
What's next? Excellent.
I think it's really important to look at this as a affordable, kind of low budget virtual production system that is much more accessible to anyone rather than a big studio. As I said, we're doing this in a small studio here, our Miami warehouse, not too fancy, and really, the idea is really can we create something that is affordable in the end and works simply and works with existing software. So we're still, you know, this is also a good test for us with this SIGGRAPH online show. We seem to be, we've had some problems with the bandwidth for our studio here, even if our other studio. But yes, we think it's great for us. Yeah, this is awesome. I mean, like I said this morning, that we're trying to come up with a virtual production solution for two people. That means two people, including the full body plus finger plus tracking the camera plus tracking the object plus the camera system plus our hybrid system. All together between $30,000 and $40,000. It's probably going to be close to $40,000 camera system. But that becomes a lot more of an affordable solution at that point. And you know, if you're working with Unreal or Unreal Engine, implementation is actually free. Right? Implementation is free for So, and we will provide also a lot of the blueprints for our projects for anybody to use and build on to the system. It is, you know, it is kind of a higher level than experience like around this stuff. So it's being meant a way together and it's really making this really accessible to anybody who's big stuff for us in the industry as a whole. So you see some widgets, stuff that's not shown in live like this, so it's only going to get better with these days. Are we ready for the next thing? You want to keep talking? So let's go. Anybody else have questions instead of group? Is this a nice thing? I also have a question about there's a few people that want to join. I don't know how the system works, but there's a few people that want to join that are in the Rumble call with the SIGGRAPH room, but they're not coming
If there's anything in the meantime, I could kind of talk about the specifications on the PN Studio. Yeah. Yeah, good, cool. So in the meantime, while these guys are getting set up, you can see I still have the tear deck in place here. I'm gonna go ahead and wait as Alberto's finishing the scene. We're just making sure that the objects are being tracked properly to the character that's gonna be holding them. But in the meantime, I kind of wanted to go over some of the specifications on the PN Studio, right? I felt like I rushed some of that, and it's really important because with this new system, we've really overhauled the entire architecture of what you guys, if you've been using our system for a long time, or even if you're new to us, we've really changed what we have. And the design, you know, we really tried to keep an ecosystem that was easy to use. So if you use the PN Pro, you know that those same snap and lock system works with the Studio. The Studio housing is very similar to the PN Pro, but the modifications that we have, right? So we have 5.5 hours of autonomy on the Studio sensors. You also have the ability to turn off the LEDs. We have a lot of people that do live stage and dance performances, and they don't want to be to have their performances obstructed or even be distracting for their audience, right? So being able to have the ability to turn off the LED lights that you have blinking on the body is really important for them. We also have that finger capture, right? So having the ability to do finger capture is super essential, especially when you want to articulate something that's really nice. So you have 2 degrees of freedom on the thumb, you have 1 degree of freedom for the rest of the fingers, and like I said, we're going to be adding modules to improve that capture. We're going to be adding that finger spread that I mentioned earlier, and we also have dedicated calibrations for your hands, right? We have a B pose, so you get your hands as close as possible to make sure that they're touching when you need them, and we have a pinch pose. That pinch pose allows you to get your fingers for finger touching accuracy. It's really great. So we've done some preliminary experimentation on our end right now. We haven't released this out to public, but you know, basic things with like sign language, or even just more articulate movements with the fingers, which is really nice to see. Like I said, we have, when I was talking about on the virtual production side, I mentioned the ability to have 5 people moving around. So I can see, actually I can see on the screen my VCam moving, which is great. We have the ability to capture 5 simultaneous users at the same time on the same computer, right? So you don't have to worry about having 1 computer for each performer, 2 computers for 1 performer, or 3, and so on and so forth. You can do all 5 on a single computer, right? Right now we're using 2 performers on a single laptop or a single desktop, which is great. That's what's operating and what we're running everything on. There's 5 different channels that you're able to use, all wireless 2.4G. And you know, in the scenario that you are just using 1 performer, you do have the ability to do that frequency hopping to switch to a channel that is not interfered as much or is giving you some issues if that is the case. Then when we talk about some of the major improvements on the hardware side, we have the sensors that have improved dynamic ability. So each of our sensors, if you're familiar with the PN Pro, you know that the sensors go up to 16 Gs. That's basically the threshold for acceleration. So anything beyond that, you know, will either not look as natural, or maybe you'll get some drift, or the data doesn't look as clean with the Studio. We actually now bump that up to 32 Gs. So now anytime that you're moving around, you're jumping, you're able to get really nice movement and capture around, which is super awesome. As well as when you're doing low dynamic movement, right? If you're doing dance or you're just kind of gliding your feet on a surface, you're able to see that really nicely. On the processing side, it's something that we've kind of had requests from users in the past, and something that we really wanted to offer to you guys, which is data processing, right? So this is something that it smooths out and cleans your data. It's not a full cleanup, right? If you're still going to be doing cleanup, you're still going to go into your traditional setup with Maya or Motion Builder or iClone's curve editor. You know, so it's not a cleanup tool, but it will smooth out data. It will make it look a lot nicer, smoother. It's a complete kind of overhaul, right? So you could get really clean raw data, and then you can do this data processing, which just improves that tenfold, which is really nice to see. You still have that contact editing, so you could turn on and off your feet or your hands if you want to adjust those as you're going along. And then when we're talking about things that are happening in real time, right? So if you're going to be doing anything in real time, let's say you're using headsets, HMDs or anything like that, right? You can actually adjust your frame rate. The frame rate that we have on the kits, on the studio sensors, actually goes up to 240 frames per second. We're super excited about this because now we have the ability to capture really, really fast movement or something at a higher frame rate, you know, for video capture. And we've also had requests for people that want to do things at 24 frames per second, 25 frames per second. And so what we enabled was the ability to choose your frame rate when you're recording in real time as well as when you're exporting. Right, so this is really great. So now you can choose the capture output to make sure everything is working dynamically and fluidly in the environment that you guys are using. One thing I want to point out is if you are using the gloves in your setup, the frame rate caps out at 100 frames per second. That's just the amount of data that's being allowed to pass through. But if you're using just the base 17 sensors, you are going to be able to output to 240 frames per second at any given point, which is great. I think I'm just going to check in on Alberto, see, still kind of finalizing some of the little details. Scene looks really great. Next scene is going to be a haunted house, Ghostbusters-esque scene. And what we've done in that environment is that we've taken two characters that we created from scratch. I actually want to thank Daniel Quadra. I'm sure you guys have seen him on all of our other videos going around. He used Reallusion Character Creator, which is available now actually. We're using the new Character Creator Editor tool, CC3. We used Headshot. So there's a lot of really cool features that we have with the characters that are going to be shown here. We don't have any facial expression for them, but we would have the ability to do that, right? We really kind of want to show this as a previs shot, right? So there's no facial in this. We have kind of like static characters. We have an environment. We're going to plan out shots. We did the blocking earlier. We're going to see how everything looks. So the characters that we have designed, we're done using Reallusion CC3 tool. If you go to our website, if you go to the page, we have all the details available. You can purchase it now. There is a special going on, so if you're interested, you are able to grab that. If I'm not mistaken, for $350 US, you're able to get the full package for custom character creation, so you can create a very lifelike digital avatar of yourself or your friends. Doesn't really matter. You can do as you please with this. So it's super cool. We're super awesome with the tool that we have. And because that data flow, right, it's super easy to take your characters from iClone, you go into 3D Exchange, get that pipeline, and bring it into Unreal. You know, so here again, we're using our live link integration. We have the characters moving dynamically. Again, we have finger capture, full body capture, and you know, hopefully on the later progressions of the sessions throughout the next following days, we'll have facial capture as well, right? Because we do have the ability to do that, which is really nice. Let me make sure. Anything? Almost an awesome. Looks like we're ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and pick up the tear deck. I'm gonna go ahead and position myself. So let me go ahead and pick this up, right? Sling it over my shoulder. Move around. So I'm going to go ahead and come here. I can see me moving towards the other camera. Alberto's kind of, I can see some light, which means that our character is flashing that flashlight lamp, which is really nice. So we have that real-time lighting happening, right? So that prop, which is our flashlight, is moving around in the environment. So let's just see. Alberto's going to go ahead and get us set up, right? So I can see now on the screen, oh look, we got, wow, I feel like I'm filming a Quentin Tarantino horror film. This is awesome. So we have our little character, we have our same characters. It looks like they're into some trouble. They both look scared. It appears that after their previous lunch, clearly it opened up a Pandora's box of evil, and now they're in this scary, scary warehouse. where the vending machines have been knocked over. There's no more soda left, and they have to go around to discover, and catch the evil spirits from that evil lunchbox. Right, cool. So, right, again, I have full capture camera control. That's me as director. I can look around to see what our characters are doing. They have, again, facial expression, moving around, going back and forth. And I'm sorry, I actually want to just backtrack a little bit because we are using the same characters from the previous scene. We do have characters that were created in iClone that we'll be using during the other days. So I apologize for that confusion if anyone's kind of wondering why these don't look like CC3 characters and the same ones from previous. So we have our characters here. It's really nice, right? It's nice and dark. Can I get that flashlight shining towards me? Let's see. Oh, great, right? So we get that dynamic movement, right? So as Silvana, right, moves the flashlight around, we can actually see where she's looking. Let's go ahead, right behind. Awesome. Very cool. So that's scene. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna, again, we pre-planned a scene. Let's go ahead and have them start at a starting position. So if you guys can stand on your markers over here, just in the middle, perfect. We're gonna get them set up. Awesome, great. So we have our character set up. You can see that the flashlight is shining. And so we're gonna film, we're gonna go ahead and do this shot, right? So we're gonna see what happens. They're gonna be on the hunt for some ghosts, and let's see how it goes, right? So when I call action, let's go ahead and go. 3, 2, 1, action. Right, oh. Looks like they're looking around. Let's see. As they come this way. Let me pull back this way. All right, as we have them. And let's go ahead and call cut. Awesome, so we could go ahead and position them back again. Again, like I said during the first one, we have that ability to kind of track and move them around. So if we're doing the shot, we have the ability to do this as a previs, right? So we can record their take, see how it looks, have them come back, and go back in afterwards with our camera and our digital asset to record and do different variables, right? So I think I'm using an 18 right now, lens 18. We can go back, shooting a 35, 24, depending on what we want to get, right? So we can change the shot, right? So I could get over the shoulder, so I could get something very, very scary if they're moving around, right? I can see kind of like what's happening here. I can see the fox kind of looking around, very mysterious. I have kind of the characters walking around. They both look mysterious. And in an abandoned warehouse, which is quite nice. So what I'm gonna do is actually ask them to reset one more time. Let's do one more take. See what that looks like. Let's go and do this one a little bit faster, right? So let's pick up the tempo. When I call action, let's go ahead and do that. So 3, 2, 1, action. There you go. Perfect. Great. And now they're gonna come towards me. Great, and cut. Great. So you guys could go ahead and reset, move back to where you were at, and that's great, right? So we have that camera prop tracking, right? Can you go ahead and let's have Alberto, because Alberto's actually standing here. Let's go ahead and kind of show again, right? We have that dynamic movement with the object tracking. We have that rigid body in front of it. As he moves around and shines the light in the environment, we're actually able to see him flash that light around. We get real-time lighting, real-time environment. And one of the nice things that we have that you are able to do in Unreal is that if you know what type of light you have, especially if you're going to be doing something on the broadcasting side, you are able to pick the type of light that you have. So lighting, design, anything like that, you're able to program it to make sure it is the right one. So you can see light there, shine around. That's great.
You can even use it as a video light.
I can even use this as a video light, right? So I can see it right in front. Let's see. I'm gonna hold this here. Right? And as I move around, I can see the characters. They look very scared and surprised right now, as if I am the ghost, right? So get me a scary face. Ah, they look scared. Right, that's perfect. Excellent. Oh no. Right. I can see the shadows behind them too, which looks really, really nice. This is excellent. We got trembling and movement. Oh no, the fox. Probably needs a pet, right? Because he's so scared. That's great. I'm gonna go ahead and hand this off to Alberto. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back on the table, and I'm gonna have him just explain again that scene that we saw. It's gonna be actually very similar to kind of what just happened with the previous one, but we'll kind of walk you through this one environment as well, just some background on what we did, what we achieved. Again, this is nothing crazy, right? We're kind of showing you the possibilities that you have, right? These aren't end projects. We really want to enable you guys with what we have, like Rock said earlier. We're gonna kind of give you guys the blueprints of projects. We're gonna give you the ability to use what we're doing, assets and stuff that you're gonna be able to kind of pick up and play and put the pieces together, right? We're not building anything weird, right? This is all done in Unreal, right? We're using the Unreal template for virtual production. We're kind of building our pipeline inside of that. And we're bringing in our Unreal Live Link plugin for motion capture, which is enable us to do the real-time tracking here. So I'm gonna go ahead and hand that off to Alberto really quickly, so you can kind of showcase what just happened.
I'm gonna give you my headphones first real quick. Someone was asking the group about basketball tracking objects that we said, and I said that with virtual objects it's really easy. The thing with basketball is that so it's much harder. In that case, I can use then you can't use it with basketball. That is a good question. But actually get the stickers as well. This is much harder, completely different ball game. So you might
I think, like at the hour mark, I'll cut it and just say we'll be live in the chat if we don't do stuff, because the tracking's so bad.
So you can see same scenario where you have an environment set. But yeah, the environment is completely modular and you can actually see where you are TV. You get to use the same access plugin to drive the character. And you have a lot of opportunities to kind of finish your scenes.
I'm gonna cut it and like Yeah. Awesome. So let me make sure I'm back on with audio. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for that are just joining us, right? Because I just heard that there's a few of you that were here. So I just want to recap on basically what we just went over, what we kind of showcased, and what you saw. And obviously over the next 3 days, it's actually going to look a lot cleaner. We hope to add some more environments and assets. And if you missed us for our first session, we're actually going over using Mocap in an XR space. So we have our studio with a green screen. We have everything going on. I think our videographer is kind of switching over so you guys can see, right? So we have from a session from earlier where we were kind of talking about the progression of Mocap, everything that we're showing, kind of bringing up the assets for a traditional broadcasting environment. So we're covering that during the morning session, so 9 a.m. if you're in California, 12 if you're in Miami. And I'm not planning to do the other times, so you guys can kind of figure that out if you're from a different time zone. But the evening session that we're going through now is covering virtual production, the tools, know-hows, and what we're kind of working and plan to kind of give you guys in the future. So again, to recap what we kind of saw today, what we're using our Perception Neuron Studio sensors and kit. Not only are we using it because it's brand new, it is the only hardware solution in our product family that supports hybrid tracking. So you can't do this with Perception Neuron 32, you can't do this with Pro, you only can do this with Perception Neuron Studio. There's a new human IK system, the new algorithm, the new sensor fusion is all supported in the new software updates and everything that we have, right? So if you're gonna be doing anything remotely close to having a virtual production setup, or if you wanna do AAA quality, if you're really looking for the best, I highly recommend Perception Neuron Studio. This is where the future is at and everything that we're getting. Then we talked about the hybrid trackers and markers that we have, right? This is where we have position on the characters. Each of our characters has 3 markers on the body, 1 on the head, 1 for each arm. We can also add multiple limbs. So if we wanted to add extremities for the feet, we could have hybrid trackers on the feet for them. We can also add that for the back. All that's gonna do is give you improved accuracy, right? So when we're talking about the optical component of our hybrid markers, right, that's gonna give you absolute positioning. And then the inertial sensor backs up that data, right? So anytime that the sensor was occluded or lost sight, right, that backed up data from our inertial sensor back that up, you're able to have continuous movement without drift or without floating away for just a few seconds as it backs it up. So that's the beauty of our hybrid markers, as well as just reducing the price point, right? So like we've been kind of stressing and emphasizing that you will have the ability to do this for hopefully under $40,000 as we work to bring the price point down, right? You know, and from that, the most expensive component is always somewhat going to be optical cameras. It's just the nature of how things work. You know, we hope that you guys will be able to get 2 suits, cameras, full finger tracking environment, everything that's going on with what we have.
Let me jump in right now. I think just a couple of things. Since new people were coming in, let's explain real quick. Can you go back to Alex? So just so people understand, Perception Neuron Studio. Look at show the box now. Yeah. Well, the actual sensor.
Yeah.
There you go. Do you have any in there?
Yeah, absolutely. That is full. Yeah.
So those are just our inertial sensors. Those are the regular sensors that we just use on the body, and that we can use anytime you want without using any cameras. What we did with the additional hybrid sensors, which we buy additionally, and we're launching today, those work when you have access to a optical studio. Optical studio, the one we use.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think Rock actually covered it perfectly, the remaining components of that. As we talked about the starting kit or base point for starting on virtual production, which you're going to use your inertial sensors. Then you can add your gloves if you want finger articulation and the hybrid sensors. To kind of finalize what we're doing here, we used custom-made rigs, right? So we have a face kind of head mounts. This is one that's available on our store, right? We kind of made it easy if you're someone that wants to do quick and simple projects, or if you're going to do something that's more for like digital signage where you don't have to involve a lot of movement, a lot of back and forth for jumping, right? Because this isn't very secure. It isn't secure to my head, right? So if I move or jump, it's going to move around a little bit. So we're kind of showing the custom rigs that we had here, and then just kind of everything that was put together, right? So we had the Terra deck, so me as a director was able to kind of move around in the virtual space, kind of pick my shots, pick my camera, pick the lens that I wanted, kind of position the characters that I wanted, have them blocked the way that I wanted, and do the shots as I needed. I could have also gone back and I reiterated this several times throughout kind of the performance, was that we could have recorded this, which is nice with Perception Neuron Studio, right? You have the ability to do things real time and you have the ability to do things afterwards. And I want to emphasize, because I feel like there's some users that price point is very scary, and I know that there's some solutions out there that charge you to do real-time data streaming into third-party solutions. We do not do that, right? We don't charge you to go into Unreal. We don't charge you to go into Unity. You absolutely have the ability to do that for free. Right now, if you go to our website, www.neuronmocap.com/downloads, you'll be able to go to our website, download the software available for free, play around with it. You have the ability to access all our SDKs and plugins for free, so you don't have to worry about third-party charging you for anything, right? There's a one-time buy-in fee that we have, and then we'll have the dongle, which will be sent to our users. It will be included. You'll be able to access your software from there, and then you'll be able to purchase plugins that, if needed or if you want, you will have the ability to do that. So it's one of the nice things, right? You don't have to be scared about software, which I know is such a major price point. I know some of the other competitors on the market sometimes charge you for that, and that could be tens of thousands of dollars for that alone. With that being said, we're going to wrap up here, but we will be live in the chat. Feel free to kind of send us meeting invites, Zoom invites, whatever you want. My name is Alex Alvarez. Rock was talking. He's the president of Noitom International. We have Alberto, who's our technical director. We have Daniel Quadra, who's our director of tech support. So feel free to stay in the chat if you want to be in the chat on the landing page of our booth, as well as sending us individual invites, right? All our emails are there, contact info. We're more than happy to jump on a call with you, and discuss what your needs are. We really want to try to, again, enable as many creators as possible. We really feel that with the new Perception Neuron Studio hybrid tracking solution, we are able to do that. So that being said, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll stay online for the next few hours. Join us again tomorrow at 12 noon. That's 12 Eastern, Miami time. We're based in Miami, or 9 a.m. Pacific. Come back to the link. We're going to be showing Perception Neuron Studio motion tracking inside of an XR volume. So if you missed our first session, feel free to join us for that. Again, thank you so much for joining us, for making SIGGRAPH 2020 amazing. Again, we wish we could be with all of you in person and discuss, but this is a nice way to do it, since you're all being safe, right? So with that being said, take care.
Yeah, let me just